Hello everybody. It's a new day on the Gelvin Valley map, and I fast forwarded time. The previous episodes I was having a dickens of a time trying to harvest down in field number 38. Just had all sorts of problems keeping my combine in the field. It seemed like he wanted to wander to the outer edges and do what he shouldn't do, but hopefully we have that straightened out now. It was late enough I opted just to fast forward the time. It's now 5 a.m. in the morning. Don't know if that's typically a harvest time, but let me see here. I'm kind of curious. It looks like we have a whole day of sunshine coming. Tomorrow morning at about 5:30, it appears we're going to have a little bit of fog to deal with, but it appears we should have a nice sunny day to finish our harvesting, and hopefully within the day we can take care of baling up the straw, maybe even begin working some fields if need be. So I'm going to head out to the equipment and start getting things ready. I say it's early morning, but I think the sun is oh boy, this still looks pretty dark. But you can see that dawn is breaking. So hopefully within the hour the sun will be coming out and things will lighten up. In this version of Farming Sim, it seems like the nights never were that dark, and I believe there was even mods set up so that it would make the nights more realistic, darker. And in here I have sky swap, so we got oh, well, that moon doesn't look very nice, but it is what it is on the texture. So this is our night sky at the moment, just seeing a few stars, a little bit of low-hanging clouds, I believe. But we're gonna make a stab at the harvest again. Got our dirty little combine ready, and we'll get him going here. Looks like we need to move the camera just a wee bit. I do need to do a little bit of modding on this combine. Last time we were in here, we noticed that the lights on the combine aren't placed quite properly. So, in terms of what they, are where they're positioned on the model. So, I think we'll need to do a little bit of work on that. Maybe I can set up a video so people can see kind of what's done to move the location of those lights. It isn't too hard. I'm reasonably confident I know what to do to move those, but we'll find out. And once again, our combine operator, who knows what he's smoking in here, but he will go forward and then reverse mysteriously a little bit. Who knows what's going on. But we'll get this field banged out, and then we'll head. We have two more after this, and then we'll be through with the wheat harvest. I believe our trailer was full, so... And I think we have it loaded. I'm gonna set it on our New Holland combine, and I'm gonna see if he's just gonna go. Or if he's gonna do what he typically does, force play, where he turns around like a ditzel and tries to go back into the field for some oddball reason. Alright, let me show. Here's our route. So we're kind of coming, yeah, maybe he's confused with the incoming route. Here's where he should be going. Let me start him up again. There, that's much better. Okay, you'll follow the path I set up. I'll go ahead and hide those again. And send it over. I noticed, oh my goodness, stay out of that ditch, please. I noticed in fast forwarding the time, I look at my cash and I just feel discouraged. I don't know what bills I'm paying, coming across, just going from one day to the next. But I thought it was under 10,000 in the hole. Now I'm 32,000 in the hole. So, in some ways I'd be curious to know what I'm paying for. And of course, this doesn't tell me Jack to Italy, so it must be something that happened kind of when the day turned. I can't tell from from what I'm doing here, just what that would be. So obstacles all around to running this little farm. This continues to be quite a challenge, to try to get this to run as an arable farm. And you know what? It's probably not that far off real life in terms of making a go farming. It's a lot tougher than it just looks, in terms of driving a few tractors around or whatever. And I think I have another tractor all set. Oh, wow, this combine, I tell you what, last time he poked it through the fence there, and this isn't what auto combine is supposed to be doing. So, wow, makes me wonder if I need to supervise every step of the way. It seems like there's plenty of room for him to turn around, but he hasn't been doing it. So, but anyway, we'll try to trust him. I guess if we have to drive it back from the reset point, we will, but it sure is tough at 13 miles an hour. But I have to take our tractor over here. Yeah, there comes our other tractor with the grain from the field. I'm going to take this over here to our pasture field that we had set up and get it windrowed so we can come in here later with the baler, just like I've done on all the other wheat fields that we've harvested here. I'm kind of enjoying each evening coming to this map and playing it a little bit and sharing a little in the journey and visiting with any that may end up watching this at some point. I believe this is my 22nd episode, which I can hardly believe, but I guess they kind of stack up, if you try to do them in half-hour stints. Which reminds me, I didn't exactly look at the clock. I kind of wish my recording software had something in it that would tell me how long I've been recording, and maybe it does, and I just need to figure out a setting. But prior to coming to do this video here, my friend Atomic67, who has his own YouTube channel and has been very, very kind and generous with me in helping, whether it's with the thumbnail setup that you see when clicking on a video, or just general advice on how to do a YouTube a video. He's been very generous with his time, and I so appreciate it. And one other little bit of advice he gave me that I'm actually going to try pursuing is to do a series on the Farm Sim 17 version of Lone Oak Farms. I don't know if anybody watching this has seen Lone Oak Farms. It's I know I've mentioned it a number of times in here because it's the farm that I worked on in my growing up years to save money for going to university, and it's a farm owned by my family kind of in the area where I live here in Western Oregon. And got acquainted with Bullet Bill when we were on FSUK. Have known him for a while. I consider him a friend. He's a very good mapper, and at some point in there, he, for reasons that escape me at the moment, decided to make a map, not for me, for everybody of course, but a map of the area where my family has Lone Oak Farms. I think it was from a post that I left on FSUK. Someone had asked, if you could make or have your dream farming simulator map, what would your map look like? What would it consist of? So I left a post on FSUK and I kind of described my dream map as to, what it would look like. And Bullet Bill happened to be in between projects and saw my post, and I think it was kind of from that for whatever reason he decided to take a stab at making the farm that I worked on and that my family owns. And he did just a bang up job at it. It's just awesome. And I think, as most would maybe know, it first appeared in Farm Sim 17, and then came also to Farm Sim 19. Although in that case, I think it was Oxygen David who converted it and took it forward. It wasn't Bullet Bill at that point, but he's the one that originally put it all together. So Atomic 67, because, well, let me see here. If, you know what, I better go check my combine. He looks like he's blocked. Oh, okay. He was just emptying, but he's probably not going to find this up here. I'm going to take him off higher to take care of this up here. Just this last little triangle. Wouldn't want him to get confuzzled. But Atomic, oh, and you silly tractor. I know, people have been joshing me that if I spent all the time that I did, undoing the mess of horseplay, I could just handle all this myself. Well, maybe I could. I don't know. I'm choosing to try to make horseplay do what it's advertised that it would do, but obviously it's having challenges. But Atomic has encouraged me to make a series playing Lone Oak 17 because that's where, I worked growing up, and my family's there. I've been around it my whole life, so there's possibly some things I might know about the area that maybe would be of interest to other people. Maybe, maybe not. So before I got started on this video tonight, I spent some time trying to get my mods together for Lone Oak on Farm Sim 17 to kind of see what it would take to do a series on it. I did record a couple of episodes, not really of any farming activity per se, but more just talking a little bit. I had some pictures to share, as Bullet Bill was making the map. I tried to assist him as best I could by literally going to Lone Oak. I mean, this was such a treat, to have an excuse to revisit the farm that I worked on and talk to my family that still lives there. And it's not very far from my home. We're talking maybe a 6.5, 7 mile drive from where I actually live in real life. So it's close by, it's easy to get to, and I always enjoy going there anyway. So I would go there and take lots of pictures for him, so he had some boots on the ground, if you will, to take reference pictures for him as he was, putting together the map. So really, really enjoyed that whole process, and Bullet Bill's a straight up guy. I've always enjoyed being around him, and he does top quality mapping work. And it's just a treat how he puts things together. So yeah, I recorded a couple episodes. I showed a few pictures mainly, but by the end of the second episode, and this is over an hour between the two of them, I had barely changed my equipment contingent, to get the combine that I wanted, and the mods put together so I can harvest grass seed in there, which is kind of what the farm does in real life. So hadn't really started farming any. Got my season set up, just all the setup stuff that I didn't drag anybody through on this particular map here. In some ways, I wish I'd have started recording maybe before, doing all this on Gelvin Valley, but that's just the way it goes. Didn't happen, doesn't matter, and I'm sure nobody cares. Least of all me. So I'm just trying to windrow this here so we can come in later with the baler, like I mentioned, so it shouldn't take too long. I'm just trying to keep an eye. Oh, that guy is moving. Where is he in the field? I feel a little oh, good, he made the corner. I see where that steering wheel is in field 38. He's up in that corner. Maybe he's finally learned to avoid the fence. This has been very offensive the number of times the fence has been sought out. So maybe, let me do it this sort of way. Maybe I should have done it a different direction on my cross windrows here. Just trying to put it in some semblance of order so I can pick it up in peace. It reminds me of a mod I put together, I think a little bit of Farm Sim 17. I never released it because it still needed some more work. You know, and that's a hard thing with modding. I don't know if any of you have done any modding or made an attempt. There are all sorts of mods of varying quality out there. I think we all know we encounter that, you know, when we take it in game and we throw a mod in there that we're excited to use, and then we take it in game and then we wonder why our game locks up, literally, and is unplayable, and sometimes it's based on a particular mod we've thrown in there, and then we kind of got to go on a hunt and search to see who done it and what's causing, you know, the problem. And that can be kind of ticklish sometimes too, especially depending on how many new mods that we throw in there. So, and then there are others that we put them in there and they are top quality. They work the first time they're tried. They do exactly what they said they would do, and there's no problem at all. So it runs a gamut out there, the quality of mods that you can have, and part of it is, I think, is modding is flat out tough. And there are some really quality modders out there that are at the top of their game that they just have picked up a lot of things over the years as to how things in the game engine work and whatnot. And then there are others that have lesser degrees of knowledge and what have you that do the best they can, putting it together, and they get it as close as they can, and then they send it out and they know it has a few errors, but you know, that's just kind of one of the things that happens. You know, my combine is going 0 at the moment. I wonder if he's blocked. Oh, yes, he's blocked. Good grief. All this politeness at the corner of a field. No, you go. No, no, I insist. You go. It's like, good grief, there's plenty of room. But this terminal politeness of farming equipment. And the tractor over here should be looking for him. Yeah. Let me stop, let me drive. Well, we'll see if he wakes up. He really should be going down there, but I will let him see if he can figure it out, and I'll try to take this over to the field. But as I was saying on mods, you know, if anybody's ever tried to mod, well, let's just say that for the most part, it's harder than it looks. You know, it's pretty cool to have a game designed where it's kind of like a sandbox. There is so much versatility to where you can create new types of machines, new kinds of foliage, you can change the sky, you can make maps, equipment galore. All these things you can change, and the company allows you to do it, gives you information on how to do it, but there is so much to know that it's, you know, virtually impossible to know everything on how to do it. So there's varying degrees of expertise and knowledge out there. It's just really cool to have a game that allows you to do it. And I think that helps the game extend far beyond in terms of audience and longevity versus what it'd be able to do if the game came up with just its own equipment. I gotta go help. Oh, oh my. Maybe the driver of the tractor has something against the driver of the combine. No, you come to me. And no, I can't. I think this will fill him up, and I'm going to send him on his way. Okay, except I got to take off his combine assignment. But I'm still going to tell him to drive. And hopefully he knows how to find the entrance. I guess a point I'm trying to make, which I'm not doing very well, is if a person wants to create a top quality mod, it's a lot of work, a lot of effort to iron out all the kinks, and even then you may not find it. For Gelvin Valley, for instance, this happens to be version 2 of the map. I think I maybe talked about that in a previous video. Version 1 was released, and maps are filled with oodles of details. It's impossible to went during the testing process to catch everything. So a lot of times when a map is first sent out, it's the general public that helps with the testing as they dive in and they start finding things that need to be fixed. So this is version 2, and that's common with a lot of mods. But a lot of times, if you want to try to get it right the first time, there's a huge amount of work that needs to be done to try to do it right, and a lot of testing. And testing is frankly a kind of a professional exercise. A lot of people, they want to cozy up to modders sometimes, I think, because they figure, oh, I'll just say I want to help them with the testing, so I can get the mod early and have some cool stuff. Well, if you're asked to help a modder do testing, it's really a labor of love, and he's asking you to help him out. And so what a good tester will do is you attempt to break the mod that the modder made. I mean, this is something the modder Zentro taught me. He's the one that mentored me kind of when I worked on my first mod with the rocks, the rock digging. He said, if you get someone to test it, you need to find someone who isn't going to just play with it and fiddle around with it. You want them to attempt to break the mod, to do something with it, that a player may try to do at some point and causes the mod not to work, causes some kind of a problem so that you can see it and you can go in and try to fix it before you release the mod, and then people start having difficulty with it. And so that's kind of what a good tester will do. It isn't someone just screwing around or looking for an early mod release. It's extremely helpful to the modder. And as a modder, you gotta have broad shoulders. You gotta be able to take some criticism if you're gonna be mature about it. And when people point out flaws, a little humility to be willing to fix those things if you want to send something out to the public. And of course, there are a lot of people that are just the exact opposite, and, well, what can I say? That's kind of the ideal, though, and it's so much work. So all that to say, here I am pulling this windrower, which I'm trying to put windrows of straw to get ready for the baler when we bring it in. And I think I mentioned this before, maybe in a previous video, I can't even remember. I started working on a mod where you could extend the area around which the mod worked. Now, for example, this particular windrower here is, what is it, 10 meters across? I'm not even sure what it is. Let's say it's 10 meters. I made a mod where you could stretch it a little bit further if you wanted to. Let's say there was 15 meters to do and you were too lazy and didn't want to do 2 strips. You could extend it a little bit wider, so you took the entire 15 meters all at once rather than just the 10 that the equipment was designed for. Why did I do that? Well, it really was for a very specific purpose, namely balers and forage wagons. It just drove me nuts that when you would go pull a baler through the field, it would refuse to pick up. If it wasn't perfectly lined up with the pickup of the baler, it would refuse to pick it up, and you'd leave little bits of straw or hay or whatever lurking about the field. And some people don't care about that stuff. Maybe it's just OCD on my part, I don't know. But I'd always feel compelled to come back and pick up all those little pieces. And in reality, in real life, windrows tend to stick together. So if you grab, a part of the windrow, odds are you're going to drag the rest of the windrow into the machine with you. So in real life, even though the windrow itself might be a fuzz wider than the opening of intake into the baler, you could still pick most of it up, if not all of it, and it would be picked up in the baler just fine. So it does have some realism. It's just in the game, like this windrower here. There's a specialization on there. It's how it works in the scripting, and it's called work area. I can maybe show it in a video sometime. That's how you set up the working area of any piece of equipment. Doesn't matter if it's a windrower, a plow, a baler, combine header, whatever it is. It has a working area that says here's where the vehicle does what it's designed to do. And so this script tweaks the work area and widens it or makes it smaller, at the whim of the player. And when you tweak that work area, it's going to impact all equipment, not just a few of them. I suppose I could restrict it to balers or forage wagons. I could do that, but I then thought of some other things. Maybe the player would like to cheat or is lazy or whatever, and would want to handle it that way with their equipment. So I was going to apply it to other things, to plows, to cultivators and whatnot. And I just never fully got done with the testing. And the game is kind of past now. This was Farm Sim 17, and people aren't going to care about it at this point. So I think I still have it somewhere on my computer. I may use it in my own personal playing if I ever do any more on Farm Sim 17, but the amount of labor, and and I've sent out a few mods, but I don't consider myself a very gifted modder per se. It's just a lot of hard work. So, whoa, Nelly, what are you doing there, tractor? This is why you gotta set the brake, and I didn't do it. So when I think of the amount of work that it would take to complete this mod, and the fact that probably not many would care about it, it there just isn't any point in trying to um, finish it up. So, and there's probably every modder. I know I asked my mentor Zentro about this. I think that's pretty common. Most modders kind of have kind of a boneyard, if you will, a pile of ideas that they have that never fully come to fruition. Things they thought about, started, worked on, but then became too much work or were too hard to figure out. See, the game, they only give you a few details on how to do certain things, maybe for proprietary reasons, especially in the scripting area. They only share part of it, so there's a lot of it that feels black box, and it's just flat out hard to figure out. At least for me, because I'm not a programmer type, so it's extremely costly in terms of time, but still a boatload of fun. I know there's a reason I keep coming back to it, or there sure should be a reason, or else my head needs to be examined. Ooh, this is a tight corner again. Let me see, did I get all that? I think I did. Trying to get this outer edge figured out. And I'm looking up there at the clock. I think I must have another half hour done. So, I don't know. I'm thinking I need to terminate the episode and head on to another one. So, I'll maybe get him started here just a little bit. I'll pause and look up here, see if the combine's figuring things out. Maybe by the time we get through the next episode, we'll have this field completed. I am deeply in the hole financially, so I badly need some cash. I'm looking forward to getting through the harvest here, because I'm kind of wanting to store my grain to save up for when the prices improve. But I can definitely get some straw bales together, bring all those in. That'll give me some quick cash, though I don't know if it's enough to close the gap. But if you made it this far, thank you for watching, for taking time to listen in. Hopefully I haven't bored anybody. Thanks once again. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.